Missio Mafia, it is Missio. We are from David's Garden right now, and this is our first Missio Monday that we're trying.
In the garden.
Within nature.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I love it. This is my, kind of my personal space, Mandy and I's personal space. My wife and I, we work out here all the time, and when I'm at my darkest moments, I'll come water my plants and feel good. So this is the garden.
Pea zone.
Yeah, don't pee on my flowers. No, we have a lot of cool stuff planned, including the debut of the Good Vibrations music video, which is super cool, and I'm super excited to share that with you.
Yep.
We are also going to be sharing with you for the first time an acoustic version of Easy.
Also dope.
That was super fun to make, and we're going to talk about how we made it and all that good stuff. Plus, at the very end, we got a surprise for you. We're going to unpack a little bit of a little more of our plans for this 5th album, which they are big, and explaining what's to come a little bit. So definitely listen to the end as well. Good Vibrations was a Matthew demo that was, I'm trying to remember at what batch of demos that was in, but I remember it sticking out.
It was a couple years ago at this point.
Yeah, we were just starting to have the idea of bringing in Jaden to drum on some stuff. So I was kind of sifting through demos, being like, hey, which of these demos should I send to Jaden so he can kind of come down? And I think there was like, oh yeah, we have another song on I'm High called Thang Thang that we've written with Jaden. So we were gonna do that song. And then also at the same time, we had Good Vibrations, which was like, he loved. I remember Jaden was the first one of us, because we had like 12 or 15 demos. It was hard for us to really just tie into one and be like, oh, I love this one. We had so many, and we were writing, and we hadn't really gotten into that. And I just remember Jaden coming in and loving Good Vibrations.
So he was like, that's a hit. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
We'll work on it.
Let's fucking do it. And then he came in, played drums on that one, which maybe it was the first time we ever. I know he played on Sing to Me, but that was remote. He recorded in LA, and we weren't even physically present.
I guess that is true.
I think we were the first time. So anyways, that was fun. That's a fun, and I feel like it's something that the people will get to see, because we've been playing live as this band now since 2017, which when we started, it was just me and you. We didn't even have a drummer, all this stuff.
That was one of the biggest things we heard was, if you guys had a drummer live, it would take you to the next level. And we were like, all right, well, we'll try it.
Well, also at the time, we were doing mostly like cinematic. It wasn't as like heavy beats as we got into. But all that to say, I think from like 5 or 6 years of playing live, we've heard the band, and so part of what we were doing on this 5th album is there's a lot of elements of us capturing the band sound for the first time.
Yeah.
I like in a weird way, including having Jaden and even like there's different areas that we've kind of found live a lot of times from just jamming out, writing intermission songs and jamming on stuff. And so anyways, Good Vibrations is kind of one of the first examples of that coming out. So
I want to say I was hesitant at first because Good Vibrations, I kept thinking of Beach Boys.
Right.
And I was like, Beach Boys, this is kind of similar, but I don't know.
Every time you say that, I think the exact same thing. I fucking love the Beach Boys, and I would be so honored to have anybody reference that's. I mean, it doesn't sound like it at all, but Good Vibrations, they did well with that title.
Yep.
But also, you know who else did well with that? Marky Mark. You got those good vibrations.
Oh, yeah.
You got the
Yeah, that's a classic.
But I mean, I think, hey, you know what? Those are 2 heavy hitter, all-time classic songs.
Well,
so,
it's new territory for us too.
It's not like we have a song called "Stairway to Heaven" or anything. You know, Good Vibrations a little more down the middle.
Not yet. It's new territory for us in some ways because we always lean darker, a little bit more aggressive, and this is very much like, even a lot of times our music will sound positive and happy, but the lyrics are pretty dark. This is a very happy, upbeat song with very happy, upbeat, cool lyrics too, which, again, we don't really do that often.
But dude, it's also got, you're right, but it also kind of has this like Jim Morrison, Dorsey, dark undertone that I like.
that
It's
groove,
a little
maybe?
bit of a psychedelic, like hypnotic, like what you need is my life. Like there's that slight.
What you need? What
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which is again kind of like not a space that I've never once referenced the Doors as a band that Missio is. But I mean, like this song feels like it kind of like a summery and almost like a throwback in a weird way to me.
It does, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it does.
The color of the song, maybe, if you want to speak in that language.
Yeah. And then for the music video, I think we wanted to
Oh, hell yeah.
do a little bit. A lot of times we can do overproduction and try to come up with these concepts and narratives, and you have to think a little bit. This, we were more like, let's have a good time. So we shot in San Marcos, and then got a bunch of skater friends. We're just having a good time, performing the song, hanging out in the park, smoking J's, which we love to do. And I'm hopeful that the video will kind of showcase the song in that way, where it's just everybody having a good time in the summer.
Well, I mean, there's never been that I can remember like a video that is just like felt more natural. It's just like, oh, we're actually just gonna go catch a vibe, hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely do not skateboard, but I'm the biggest fan of it. Not the biggest fan, actually. That's not true at all. But I did grow up like idolizing like skate park videos and like the punk music culture and like, you know, even shooting on little handy cams, you know, like I don't like that felt fun to me.
It was
like,
yeah.
And I think that it translates through the video, and it's the same way that I don't have the same understanding of the visual art like I do music. Like I know that shit translates. Like when we have a feeling and put it into the music, I have seen it too many times where someone out in Russia has the same feeling.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well that's some magic sauce. You can't teleport, but we did something there, you know?
Yeah, we did notice, because growing up in the 90s, obviously there's skaters all over the place. Tony Hawk, Rob Dyrdek, all those guys. Trying to find skaters was tough.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if there are less skaters. I don't know if it's just not as cool anymore, not as popular.
Well, we should also say we shot it in San Marcos.
Yeah.
Which is south of Austin and kind of like, it's where you live now, but it's like, they're like brother and sister cities, right? But San Marcos is more of like, even more of a river city, smaller town, like
way less traffic. River rats is what I call the people that live there, because they just wake up at like 6 a.m., get in the river.
San Martians,
yeah,
right?
San Martians. Yeah, San Martians. But it's just it's more my vibe. Austin just got a little bit too chaotic and expensive.
It is very chaotic and expensive here, and But I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely been to San Marcos a good amount, living so close, but I kind of fell in love with it in a cool way when we were shooting this video, because we were kind of driving around. Some of the shots where you're skateboarding were like on these like really cool streets with, it was a vibe, and also the people, that's important to me. There's like a spirit of welcomeness that a lot of times
small town
if I feel
Texas feel.
unwelcome in a place, it could be very subtle. But I don't like being there. Yeah. And I felt welcome.
I love a lot of those small Texas towns because they're very welcoming. Like,
yeah.
The people are beautiful. Big fan of San Marcos.
Yeah, that was a fun day, even though it was like hot as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we got started early, but that was when it was like 100 degrees and everyone's melting outside. So
Yep.
The sun is real.
Good vibrations. Personally, it makes me like the process more.
Me too.
Because we would just do these videos where we would spend a huge budget. There would be 60 people on set. We would show up and we were like, what are we doing? What is the concept? What's the narrative?
You feel like your hand, in a weird way, gets removed from the process.
Very much.
And like you have like you lose your connection to the art.
Even down to the edit, because a lot of times in like main shoot or big shoots, they will be like, okay, we'll give you like one round of edits, and then if it needs more edits, you're like, well, are we going to pay for this, or like what's going to happen? So now, especially being able to work with Ima too has been awesome, because I personally feel more freedom to have it our concept and closer to what you and I are feeling as artists. But then also being able to, I trust Ima enough now as a videographer to be like, this is what I'm looking for, but I don't know how to explain that necessarily, so shoot that. And then she shoots it. It's fucking amazing.
I feel like there's also, I'm not as specific of a visual artist per se. I'm more of like a story and general vibe guy when it comes to this side of things. And I think the reason that I've felt so much more freedom is I felt early days a lot of pressure to still provide some cohesive brand image for Missio with our videos. Because, like, not to get too businessy, but like at that point in time, it felt like you really had to brand your band, and it had to be, you kind of had to, we felt like we had to run in a lane a little bit more to be successful. And I don't think that was necessarily true, but we felt that way.
Part of that too is pre-TikTok, and everybody, including myself, was so focused on having the most aesthetically pleasing Instagram profile. So everything was like branded, color schemes are all cohesive, whatever.
If something wasn't of that specific vibe, it's why, like you mentioned, it's like Good Vibrations is like positive, happy, like a lot of things that were not, that wouldn't have fit in the original stream. Same with Easy, but I think now not having this like rigid like allegiance to have have everything look similar, it's allowed every video to just be what it's in its simplest form. Like if you can get it down to its simple, boom, and focus on the simple and do that. And we're at like the beginning of this, but I believe that we're already starting to uncover like some cool stuff that will lead to some cool stuff. And so, and you know, so let's like follow along. You know what I'm saying?
The best compliment we got on the Easy music video was, the video helps me understand the song even more.
Hell yeah.
That's a fucking win to me.
Hell yeah.
Every time.
For me, the best part of the Easy video is when she takes the paint from her and puts it on him. And it like makes the whole video build up like it's a little bit of a narrative video, but it's a very soft narrative. It's also just an aesthetic video. But like for me, that moment when it's like, we can collaborate and make something that is uniquely beautiful, boom. Like and so getting to those simple moments and building the whole video around one simple moment, or like Good Vibrations is like, hey, we're just gonna be setting a vibe with skateboarding and doing things we love, like hanging in the park and smoking J's. Like, that's very simple.
Sign me up.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Yeah, actually, the real behind-the-scenes story is Matthew goes, yeah, I got 2 longboards. We're mainly going to have this video, you and me longboarding. And I go, dude,
I ain't doing that shit.
I honestly think this is a great video, and I can see it. The only problem is, your boy doesn't longboard. So I go, I'll be smoking a J in the park. And that's how that happened.
It's great.
And I think, I think it worked out well, so.
That's great.
Racking up the likes like a cool kid. I'm a cool kid walking on the streets, taking my time, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ripping on some weed like a cool kid. I'm a cool kid skating in the streets, taking my time, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. What you need, what you need, what you need is my love. Some good vibrations, some good vibrations. What you need, what you need, what you need is my love. Some good vibrations.
The only thing I can say is I think you and I strive for the original song to be such a well-written song that when you can strip it back to just an acoustic guitar or a piano, the song's still there. So I think this kind of showcases that, coming from 100 tracks on an original song to now 5 to 6 tracks.
Well,
You have to be
yeah.
very selective about
You know-
what you're choosing for that moment.
Yeah, our process musically completely changes because when we're writing a song, a lot of times our musical production will come first, and then there's a melody, and then there's a lyric. But now we have the lyric, we have the melody-ish, we have the feeling, and we get to reapproach it musically and kind of just only what is necessary, you know? And that, and it's never more than a few hours. So it's real quick. It's like, hey, okay, what are we gonna do?
Which I
And-
think we try to do that, because there you can't get to a place where you are over selective, where
Yeah.
you're like, maybe we could add one more thing, and then you get to the place where you're at 20 tracks and you're like, this is too much.
Well, you sort of have the mindset of like not specifically limiting to like what two people can play, but it's just like I use this time when I'm in the studio all the time. Oh, what is this guy gonna be playing? And it's just an imaginary figure in my head, but it's like it's the keyboard guy. Okay, this guy's gonna be playing something. It's a way to arrange songs that makes sense visually in my head. And we don't have a lot of drums either.
Yeah.
Or hand percussion or just basic shit, you know. And just letting the song speak and creating a little more cinematic space for it to lay in, you know.
Yeah, I think it helps us, coming from a classical background too. I feel like that's where we can utilize some of that classical elements too. We try to incorporate piano parts or acoustic, more classical parts. Sometimes you can't fit those into a Missio original classic song.
Right.
So it does give us more freedom to just follow the energy of the universe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one of the natural things that we do well is melancholy, dark, cinematic, and that only finds its way into a small section. So this allows us to just like it's very releasing, I think, for us to just like, just as it is to come the other way and slam people with some bangers, you know, and really drums. And I think we get off on drums, just get away from all those things and get satisfied in a different way.
I like your smile, your carefree style, all vibes for miles. You like me around, 'cause I'm from your hometown. Let's light up, girl, get down. Every time I close my eyes, I know you're the only one that makes me whole. Every time I close my eyes, I know you're the only one that makes me. You're making me feel easy, easy, easy. 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 I didn't notice that I was frozen. Can't lose and focus. Life sucks, I know. You make it less cold. In tough times we grow. Every time I close my eyes, I know you're the only one that makes me whole. Every time I close my eyes, I know you're the only one that makes me. You're making me feel easy, easy, easy. You're making me feel easy, easy, easy.
So we have really a deluxe album coming, which is a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And I don't even think you and I set out to write a deluxe album.
Yeah,
I think it just organically happened.
Yeah, and like, so specifically, since I don't think most people in modern times even understand what like a double album is, but like back in the day, back in my time, like you used to go to the store and some of the CDs were double thick and had 2 CDs or more. One of my favorite albums of all time is Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, and it's a double album. And it's like, for me, those are, I mean, Pink Floyd, The Wall. Like, I mean, there's like a bunch of stuff that is like, I'm pretty sure that one's 2 CDs. I don't know.
I think so.
That one came out before CDs, so there's probably some people who be like, what is he even talking
vinyl,
about?
you
That's
motherfucker.
a vinyl, right, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know, and then also the fact that this is a concept album in a sense. It's not like an old school concept album like The Wall or something, but we have, with our collective, well, I don't know what the total number, 29 to 30 songs.
Yes, about 30 is what I
on
said.
this album, and like they're grouped and they tell a story, you know, and obviously the story has begun, and it start with I Am Sad, you know, those 5 songs, and it's going to unfold. And I don't know, I haven't been this excited about everything, and I just I don't know, that motivates me.
We have I Am Sad, we've got I Am High, which is the next one, which is easy, is single 1. Good Vibrations is coming next week, which is single, actually by this point it's already released.
So Good Vibrations.
Good Vibrations is out. But I Am High, and what's interesting about that too, and the story we're trying to tell is, we're trying to go through the emotional kind of base of the human experience, and a lot of times it does start with something happens to you and you're sad, and then there's this moment of, okay, I'm tired of being sad, now I need to just fucking cope and get through this bullshit, which is I'm High. And we're gonna start kind of with each EP trying to tell this story of these dealing with emotions and what that's like. I think the songs really represent kind of each feeling. We are so non-genre-esque anyway that this is also going to kind of help, I think, people to understand what we do as a band, what our sound is, and the differences of sound actually.
Yeah, and so I guess announcing that I'm High is the title of the next EP, and that Easy and Good Vibrations are the first 2 of that bunch. Like,
God's here.
that felt very powerful
God.
when I said that. But